So, optimizing your LinkedIn profile is a question and a topic that Nancy and I get asked often. What does it mean to optimize your profile? How do you optimize your profile? What are the things that we should do? And in today's training, in today's episode, we're going to comb through section by section very clearly what needs to be done in order to optimize your profile so you get more visibility, you appear in more searches, you're driving more people to your LinkedIn profile. There's a way to capture email. But before we dive into all of that, we just want to let everyone know that we do have a resource for anyone that wants it. It's an optimize your LinkedIn profile guide. It kind of walks you through step by step exactly what you need to do as far as optimizing your banner, your headline, your experience section, your summary section. So if you're listening on the podcast, if you go to the description, there's going to be a link that you can click, put in your name and email, and it'll send you the guide that you can download right to your computer, and you can use that to start to optimize your LinkedIn profile. If you're watching on social, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, or LinkedIn, all you have to do is type the word me in the comments, and Nancy and I will send you the link so you can download it and get yourself optimized. So, Nance, before I dive into the different criteria, I guess the question that I think we should answer for everyone first is why do you need to optimize your LinkedIn profile?
Oh, that's a
It's
that's
a it's a
pretty
it's a it's a
that's
heavy one, Nance. That's a heavy
that's a
question.
that's a heavy one. Why? Oof. Okay. I always talk about this, right? Because, I did a lot of research whenever I was writing my book, How to Build Your Personal Brand on Social Media. And every single personal brand expert that I interviewed, that I researched across the board basically said, I don't care what platforms you're on, social media, whatever it might be, you have to be on LinkedIn. Right. And the reason why is where else can you put your name, your information, your experience, right? All the different things that you've done, your recognition through recommendations, your skill set, your experience. It's like your online, like everything, right? It's the best place to really showcase all the different things that you have not only done, but that you can do to help people. And you get to splash your links all throughout, which we'll talk a little bit more on this episode. But it is, to me, one of the no-brainer things, right, that we can do to instantly start to build our personal brands, and get ourselves found. That's the other thing, and I know we'll touch on that in a second as well, but people can Google you and your name can appear, right? Because your LinkedIn profile is actually SEO optimized. So lots of benefits there. But for me, it's a no-brainer. Everyone should definitely have a LinkedIn profile.
Yeah, I think what a lot of people forget is that LinkedIn is a search engine, and just like any other search engine, you need SEO optimization, so search engine optimization. So there should be keywords fluttered all throughout your LinkedIn profile, and that's what we're going to kind of describe today because I really I want people to understand exactly what I mean by this. So as as you go through your LinkedIn profile, and I'm going to kind of like give you guys a visual, but also a very clear way of doing this. You know, your background banner is the first thing that people see. And Nance, all too often we see people that have way too much stuff in their background banner, right?
Or
It's
they've never updated from the original blue,
right.
the
Or
generic.
whatever the ones that LinkedIn gives you. But
Yeah.
the best thing that you can do, and this is what Nancy and I always talk about in our mastermind, in our expert content society community, if people don't know what you do and who you do it for, they're basically going to stop their scroll. Meaning they're going to populate onto your profile, and if that background banner is not clearly speaking to those individuals, they're going to stop. So using mine as an example, mine says the LinkedIn content sales and marketing system for coaches, consultants, and service professionals. But here's the kicker. When you're stating what you do and who you do it for, you have to make sure that you're inviting the right people to view your profile. Meaning when you're sending your connection requests out, those people are probably going to check you out. And if you're connecting with the right people, you're going to start to see your acceptance rate go up because that background banner is going to really clarify exactly why you're looking to connect with them. And they're going to want to connect with you because they potentially are going to have a need for what you provide. So that's the first thing. Second thing is making sure your profile picture is a professional, straight on looking headshot. You don't want to be looking to the side. Nancy knows I've had different iterations for mine. I had an old bodybuilding picture that brought a lot of unwarranted attention. More recently, prior to the one that I have now, I had a very stoic looking profile picture, which I got feedback from someone that said it doesn't represent who you are at all. You're a very happy, smiley, outgoing person. So maybe change your profile picture to represent that, which I gladly did. The headline section, and Nance, if you want to kind of dive into that, there's a, a right way and a wrong way to utilize the headline section. So talk about the wrong way that people should be utilizing the headline section compared to the right way that you should do it.
Yeah, I mean, the wrong way would be, guys, no emojis anymore. Okay, so if you've got emojis in your headline, take them out. In fact, I think they were even flagging accounts that had emojis in their headlines. So definitely that's a no-no. The other thing too is, this spot that's got, obviously if you're watching, you can see he's highlighted it, but it's the spot right under your name, right at the very top of your head of your profile. You should be putting words in there, right, that are SEO optimized. What are people searching for, right? What does your audience care about when they're actually visiting your profile? So these should be things, right? Words that actually are what you do. Okay. So don't put anything fancy. I love how Donald Miller always says, don't be cute, be clear, right? So this is the spot to do it. So you don't have to like write in a roundabout way all the different things that you do. Just put words, right? Words that people would be searching to find you. So just to read to you kind of what Scott says, right? Human-driven AI prompts for LinkedIn content, co-founder of Expert Content Society, creator of LinkedIn Leads Generation, AI GPTs, human connection, author, speaker, podcast host, client acquisition, and sales. Okay. So those are some things, again, that are keyword optimized. And if you guys are like not sure what to put, I mean, even using AI, right? Saying, here's what I do, I want some words that are going to be easily searchable, that my audience would be looking for. And you can get some ideas even using AI.
So below that is one of the most powerful sections. It's the about or summary section. Now, there's a couple keys to this. Number one, you have to make sure that your summary section is between 300 to 500 words in length. Now, the key to that is writing it in first person, so you want to be telling the story. But most importantly, including a couple sentences of what your mission in business is. So just to use mine as an example, mine says, my mission is simple: help consultants, business coaches, and service-based professionals make meaningful connections, build their authority, and generate measurable revenue through LinkedIn. I show people how to use LinkedIn strategically, not sporadically, so they can turn their expertise into opportunity. So it's very clear what I do and who I do it for, but also I've brought in the specific skills that I have. So you want to list 15 to 20 skills and simply just type in skills colon and then start listing them, dash business branding, dash marketing strategy, all the way down. So any business skills that you've accrued over the last number of years, you want to include those there, but also finishing with a call to action. So, website, colon, your website, email, colon, your business email. Do not put your personal email. Scammers are scraping this information and basically blasting you through email campaigns that you've never opted in
Never
for.
signed
So,
up for.
yeah, so report those as spam. But the featured content section is also a real important piece to LinkedIn because this allows you to take people from online to offline. So if you don't have this section, all you have to do is click Add Profile Section, and under Recommended, you'll see the first thing is Featured. And when you add the featured, then you can click the plus sign and it'll give you five options: a post, a newsletter, an article, a link, or media. Now, we recommend showcasing your LinkedIn newsletter if you have one. If you don't, in our community, we teach you how to create one, and then obviously use our prompts to create your weekly newsletter editions, which is a huge bonus. But also adding a link. So this could be website, this could be your lead magnet, this could be a calendar link that you have to book calls. So you have to make sure that you're looking to take people from online to offline on LinkedIn, and the featured content section is a great way to do that. Now, the experience section, Nance, if you want to kind of chime in with this, uh, the experience section should not be listed as a living, breathing resume. It's a way to really showcase your expertise and what you've done in your professional career. So, what are some tips and keys that people need to know about in optimizing your LinkedIn experience section?
Yeah, I mean, you want to definitely focus on obviously jobs that you have done, in the past. I mean, how far would you go back, Scott?
I went back to when I owned my gym starting in 1998, so you can go
Yeah.
back as far as you want.
I mean,
They're,
I
they're
think
all
it's
they're all
it it
connection points.
it should be relevant. I mean, obviously we don't need to go back to when you worked at KFC or Chick-fil-A, back in the day as a teenager, but I think it's important to go back enough where you are listing, right, all the things that you've done to show your skills, right? Show the experience that you have. And like Scott said, they're connecting points. So, for example, when you connect with someone, hey, I see we both worked at such and such a company, or hey, we both went to the same, whatever. So the thing is all of these things that you're listing aren't just showcasing your skills and abilities. It's providing so much more, right? That would make someone more likely to connect with you, right? Those little things matter. I mean, when someone sends you a message, just kind of giving an example and says something like, hey, connect with me on LinkedIn, please, or, connect with me. And there's nothing, it's like, nah, how about no? And then if someone sends something like, hey, I saw that you actually worked at so and so and, would love to support each other on LinkedIn, it just gives that little extra layer of, hey, you can trust me, we've done something similar, and then go from there. So, anything that is relevant, I would totally add to your experience. You want to treat it obviously as a spot, as you can, if you are obviously watching, you can see how Scott has it. He explains, kind of the different things, that he did, a little bit of a write up as far as, his experience with that particular job or program that he was a part of. And obviously, you can also add clickable links in there. You can add websites, all kinds of different things in the experience section as well. And I don't think you can't click directly
They're
on them,
not.
but you can copy them and paste them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
But,
they're they're, they're not clickable. Yeah,
yep. So, for example, though, if you listed your current company, by creating a company page, you can absolutely put your website link, on the bottom there.
correct.
So,
The
yeah.
other two things that I would say is make sure that when you list your experience section, you start with some sort of power adjective, like using myself and Nancy as an example, co-founder of the Expert Content Society, and then follow that up with three hard skills that relate to that professional title. So ours says co-founder of the Expert Content Society, and then a totem pole, which is the up and down straight line, content creation, AI, sales, social media marketing. Those are keyworded, so they also will appear in search results as well. But also make sure that each one of your experiences has a description, and it should be at least 30 words. So don't just put something there and then just leave it. Add a description of what it is that you do at the time that you did it, to make sure that that section is optimized. Now, with the education section, you can list any undergrad or graduate education or university that you attended. The one recommendation that Nancy and I do make is removing the dates at which you went there, just because there is ageism. So if you click the edit pencil by education and you have dates by certain ones, you just have to click the edit pencil next to it. And you just have to make sure that the start and end date is on month and year. And then you just click save, and that will remove those specific dates from the education section. Adding licenses and certifications, volunteering, those are additional things that you can add by going to the add profile section. Under recommended, you will find licenses and certifications. Now, you can add any license and certification that you want. So if you're currently doing, something different from what you did prior, and maybe something that you were doing prior was maybe insurance or finance or real estate. and you got a finance uh, what's it called, certification, or an insurance certification, or a real estate certification or license. Just because you're not doing it currently doesn't mean you shouldn't add it. You should add anything. And on mine, I have all my past certifications when I spent nearly 18 years in the fitness industry. So I'm not going to negate any of the work that I did. I'm going to have those specific certifications in there. And then if you go to the add profile section, you click on additional, you'll see where you can add volunteer experience, publications. Maybe you've written a book or you were featured in a publication. You can add those there. Honors and awards, things that you've won over the years, languages, organizations, causes, but also under recommended. The last thing are recommendations. These are testimonials that you can gather from your LinkedIn connections. And if you were to visit my LinkedIn profile, you'll see that I have 530 written recommendations, one as recently as January 28th. So I'm always looking to get a couple new recommendations every single month. And the way that you get them is asking people that you've collaborated with, you've worked for, or that you know, like, and trust that can speak to your credibility and your expertise. And it's a back scratching activity in the sense of I always ask people to recommend me, and I would gladly write one in return. So even though I've received 530, I've written nearly 200 recommendations. So if you ask me in return to write one for you, I absolutely will. And this is where your credibility stands out. People always ask us, well, how can I make sure that I stand out from other people in your space? Well, the recommendation section is one of those. I don't know any other LinkedIn trainers or LinkedIn quote unquote experts, as people call me, that have nearly that many recommendations. I know there's people that definitely have hundreds, but I still haven't found someone that has over 500 like I do.
Yeah, and the cool thing too is, Scott, you showed me before that you can export, right, your recommendations.
Yes.
Okay, so that's like, I mean, to me, that's a no-brainer. Being in marketing, we use testimonials, we use recommendations for many different things. Obviously making sure that you get permission from, whoever's been sharing it. Obviously, somebody's given you a recommendation, on LinkedIn, they're more than happy to share that. But having all of those testimonials available to share, again, the trust building, the credibility, the social proof, guys, that is the difference maker.
Yeah. So I'll walk through that in a second, but if you've ever written a book, so Nancy and I wrote a book together called The Feel Good Business Model, and you can add the publication URL wherever it's hosted. So ours is hosted on KDP Publishing. So if someone goes to the publication section of my LinkedIn profile and they click on show publication, it takes them right to our book that they can purchase on Amazon. So the cool thing is now you can turn your LinkedIn profile into generating sales for books or things that you have written. And then obviously the honors and awards, things that you've obviously been recognized for, languages, organizations, interests, and causes. Now, going back to what Nancy said about exporting your recommendations, if you were to go to where it says me, it's going to give you a drop-down menu where you can click on settings and privacy. And if you click on settings and privacy, you're going to see data privacy. It's the fourth option down on the left-hand side. And if you actually go, you can actually go down, and you can see manage your data, but get a copy of your data is what you want. So what I can do is I can click on the arrow that says get a copy of my data, and then it's going to say download my data. What do you want? Do you want articles, recommendations, invitations, registrations, profile? So I can actually click on recommendations and then click request archive, and then LinkedIn will actually email you a CSV file that has all your exported recommendations that you can use for website, you can use for testimonials, you can use for maybe email campaigns that you have. And that's why it's really important to gather those, because now you can use them whenever you want. So these are just some of the simple things that you can do to really optimize your LinkedIn profile. As a reminder, if you're listening on the podcast, we have the download and the guide waiting for you in the description. You just have to click the link. If you're watching on social, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, just type the word me in the comments and we will get that link over to you so you can download our free guide. So everyone, we hope you enjoyed today's episode. Love and gratitude, and we'll talk to you next time.